Thank you very much for being with us. My name is Yuval, and I would like to invite Cenk as our client to show you a little bit about how to adapt and to expand payment into the online retail when you are expanding globally.
Thank you very much for having us, and thanks to SafeCharge as well. Best thing, before I start, best thing about working with SafeCharge is they let you speak at fancy conferences. So thank you very much for the opportunity again. We're going to talk to you briefly about our journey as Everything5Pounds.com. Just to give you a little intro about the company, we were founded in 2011 by two partners, self-funded project. At the time, the first £5 fashion store in the UK. Since inception, we grew rapidly over the past 6 years and extended product offering from fashion only to menswear, children's wear, accessories, and home products, as well as some kids' toys. Today, we're serving about 1.5 million customers in the UK with around 5,000 to 6,000 transactions, and recently opened a store in Germany in the name of Alles für Zen, and did our complete tech overhaul and started working with SafeCharge in 2015.
Yeah, so a little bit about SafeCharge and who we are. SafeCharge Group was established in 2007. We are a principal member by Visa, MasterCard, China UnionPay, American Express, and many more. We are also connecting merchants to more than 150 different alternative payment options worldwide to allow this expansion globally that you will see now. We are a financial institution regulated over the entire EU and with offices in the UK, in Milan, Amsterdam, New Jersey, Singapore, Hong Kong, Sofia, and Tel Aviv. The technology was initially built in Tel Aviv and then expanded globally into all the world, basically.
Right. So after the intro, we're going to talk to you about Everything5Pounds.com's recent integration with SafeCharge. We try to present the benefits of Everything5Pounds.com with the SafeCharge perspective. And I'd like to start with the subject uptime. I'd like to, I've been in the business since the beginning, so I've seen the small business days and the medium business times, so I'd like to give a bit of information about how it worked with the startup and how it works with the medium business today. So as a startup, at the very beginning, of course, you'll have a lot of problems. You read a couple of forums on the internet, and especially if you're a self-funded entrepreneur, you don't have much money to play with. It's your hard-earned cash, and you want to start somewhere. And you know, traditionally, you start with some forums on the internet and some roundtables, e-magazines, and so on. And one of the most unexpected problems you'll get is a payment provider going down. You already have a lot of issues. In our case, we have to buy stock, we need to build our warehouse, shelves collapsing, the roof is leaking, and the internal Wi-Fi is going down. But then what you don't want at hand is a situation where you don't take money. Yeah, you wake up one morning and you see your payment gateway has been down for the whole night, and you missed out on a lot of transactions. I've been always very cautious of the famous 99% uptime figure, because you know, if you put in simple numbers, if you take in £500,000 a year, if you're a small business trying to grow, 99% uptime, meaning you can't guarantee the £5,000 that you desperately need in your revenue figures. When you grow and you become a medium-sized business, the problem is not less. When you're looking at peak times taking thousands of pounds every hour, your payment gateway going down for an hour or two is, of course, a big problem in terms of revenue and lost transactions, lost customers, and so on. And also, yes, of course, at the very beginning, you're advised to use 2 payment gateways. So one as a fallback, and you read about all the recommendations. But that doesn't solve your problem, because you don't have the vital development resources. You're only learning your business. You want your tech infrastructure to work on different things rather than installing another payment gateway, which will cost you time and money. We've always I've worked with 2 payment providers before, and since going to SafeCharge, at the very beginning, the promise was the SafeCharge has got phenomenal uptime performance thanks to its iGaming background. So SafeCharge is operating in a very competitive area. I will tell you more about it, that they can't afford to be down. And thankfully, in the last 2 years, I don't actually recall any downtime in our service at all. So it's always been up.
Thank you. So indeed, we see few very important parameters of the online payment ecosystem. We will review some of them today, but the basics are always up. We cannot allow our merchants going down. We cannot allow them to have any situation where they cannot accept payments from any different user, no matter where it's coming from. Therefore, staying available is at most of our priority. Originally, SafeCharge started the business answering the needs, the very demanding needs of the iGaming regulated companies in the UK. Those companies, those operators are processing high amount of transaction every second. Generated by those numbers, we have learned that the most important thing is staying available always. We have developed only in Europe 3 different data centers, always active. In each one of them, 7 different gateways. 21 different gateways are giving coverage only in Europe. And we have duplicated those in the rest of the world to make sure that, first of all, the transaction itself is seamless and happening very fast. On top of that, no transaction will be failing. We remain always up. We are one of the only providers out there guaranteeing 5 times 9, 99.999% of availability as part of our SLAs in any standard contract. So any merchant out there wanting to transact, and no matter where the user will be coming from, will be able to transact. We will always stay available. This is our #1 priority to our merchants. I would like also to emphasize a little bit about one more important parameter within the payment ecosystem, and this is obviously fraud management. Any transaction, any merchant transacting online is required to have an anti-fraud fraud management solution. Our fraud management solution is built with our own proprietary SafeCharge solution that was developed over the last years. This solution is a rule engine connected to all the different databases of the card schemes, receiving alerts of lost, stolen, and many other negative feedbacks on users creating fraudulent activity. We have created a database of shared negative database out of the entire fraudulent activity, which is shared among our merchant database, where each transaction which is fraudulent can be blocked online in real time and will be blocked for any further fraudulent attempt. Our rule engine contains 150 different rules for velocity checks, for geolocation conflict, for any kind of different suspicious of fraud. However, out of this rule engine alone is not enough. Out of this rule engine, 3 different results are possible. Either 100% legitimate, approved, and being sent to the relevant financial institution acquiring bank. Either 100% fraudulent activity, hence being declined and immediately entered into a negative database. Or the one my favorite result, and this is the flagged. Our rule engine is being backed by a 24/7 team, analysts that are sitting and locating all of those flagged transactions, analyzing them on real time, and immediately alerting a merchant if there is a suspicious for fraudulent activity. I would like you to hear a little bit from Cenk about his experience with our anti-fraud system.
Thank you. Again, I'd like to talk about the startup days when we first founded Everything5Pounds.com, and we encountered with a very, very aggressive fraud threat in the UK. Even before venturing to Europe, we even had our then payment providers raiding our offices, thinking that we were in some friendly business with the bad guys. Of course, it's again, it's a difficult situation for a startup. You don't want to strengthen your rules too much because, you know, as you all know, it will result in sharp declines in conversion rates and losing revenue. But then on the other side, loose rules will result in fraudulent transactions that might end up costing you a lot more money in penalties and subsequent bans from institutions. After understanding what fraud is, Everything5Pounds.com ventured into developing its own fraud management module, which meant that with the limited amount of rules coming from the payment providers, as the business grew, we had to have a designated person looking at least a couple of hundred of transactions daily, simply because filtering transactions down to level where assisted mostly by the rules is not going to be eliminating the problem fully. We had to spend hours daily checking transactions manually, and that's not the only problem, because the people you employ to do this, they're not readily available in the job market. Every business has got its own risk rules and patterns, and really the risk administrator will have to have enough experience to understand what a fraudulent transaction might mean for your business, and they'll have to be there 7 days a week and look at the transactions very carefully. However, after meeting with SafeCharge, looking at the detail of the rules they have, I mean, you can look at a credit card placing 3 transactions in the last X hours. That's about £50, and so on, hundreds of different things. We actually found it very useful, and we managed to bring the fraud check nominated transactions to single digits daily. Again, yes, there are companies out there offering you third-party fraud screening. However, again, as a startup business, it's a cost that we couldn't even think of bearing at the time. And of course, when the business grew, you want to have the control. And you want to have as many rules as possible, which SafeCharge successfully provided, simply because they played in a very competitive environment in iGaming before.
I think that what we've found out over the years is that having a risk engine plus a back office is nice, but it's not enough. What we have developed over the years are those small features that make the difference happen. Any provider out there can supply with a fraud management solution that will be so tight that it will jeopardize your expansion into the market. We found a balance, we believe, the ultimate balance between the excellent fraud management and not killing the conversion by a lot of false positives. So reducing the false positive into minimum while increasing the fraud management solution into maximum. Few examples of those parameters are shown up here. The first one is a 3D secure management, or how to manage your 3D secure better. In the old days, there were two options. Either you use 3D secure, enjoy from the liability shift, either you are using without 3D secure and taking the risk. We have developed a rule engine that is deciding per transaction in real time if to send a transaction into a 3D secure, assuming that the issuer supports it, assuming that it will be presented properly in the device. If it's a mobile device, many times there are issues. If it's a very senior user using frequently your retailer, then yes, let's use without 3D secure. If it's a new one, you still don't trust him, we will activate 3D secure. Per location, per amount, per many different parameters, more than 20 different parameters to decide per transaction online if to activate the 3D secure or not. And what we have found is that the conversion is being increased in 5% if you are using the 3D secure in the correct locations, in the correct product amount, while enjoying from the liability shift. We've also discovered that risk management can be not only filtering the risk, but also increasing your conversions if you use it properly.
I think we can... right, the next subject we'd like to talk about is the international expansion of Everything5Pounds.com. Actually, since its inception, Everything5Pounds.com proved quite popular, especially in the Eastern European region. But just touching to the risk management subject again, understanding risk in another country was a lot more difficult than managing it in the UK. For instance, you don't have the same address formatting, and you don't even have the recognition of the region to make any decisions, which made us employ a very defensive risk measure to those regions. So another point in international expansion is the fact that with SafeCharge, we got to talk to our customers in other countries in their own language, which is always a plus, and also presenting them the bill in their own currency, avoiding nasty surprises by unfavorable FX rates presented by the banks. So the customer lands on the payment page, they see the amount in their own currency, and they pay exactly that. That was also something we were introduced by SafeCharge. But more importantly, I'd like to talk to you about the payment methods. As you all know, UK's e-retail market is getting ever so crowded, and all the companies are looking elsewhere to grow. And looking at other countries, it's not always the case. You have in England, where everybody uses a credit or debit card or PayPal, you have a lot more different payment methods. We did an integration with SafeCharge to our German brand Alles für Zen, using SafeCharge's recent integration with Klarna.
Yeah. So as part of our technology, we present to any merchant, first of all, as a discussion with the merchant, we present our best practices to each of those markets that the merchant would like to expand to. In Chain case, the German market was a new market for them. We knew that coming into the market with only the UK payment methods, which is mainly Visa debit, will not be significant, will not be sufficient in Germany. We've added into the cashier immediately all the local German frequently used payment methods, such as GiroPay, Sofortüberweisen, Klarna, and many more, PayPal, money bookers, plenty of payment methods. Over the months, we have fine-tuned it with the one that is frequently used by his own end-user database. So the transaction will be, or the flow of the checkout will be as seamless as possible. It's not only the payment methods, it's also the currency. We've used the euro, obviously, and the language, everything to make sure that the user will feel at home when he's coming to transact. The same type of integration and the same type of attention we have developed to the different type of devices. So not only different languages, different payment methods, but also full adaptation to the localization, to the different customs, and to the different type of devices, if it's Android, if it's mobile, if it's iOS. The payment page presentation will be fully adaptive to that.
I think that's it.
I think that it's worth mentioning that as part of the expansion out of your own local and known jurisdiction, you would like to make sure that you enjoy in one integration and in one contract, in one reconciliation file, everything in one place with the whole scope of the payment methods, instead of going now to each one of those providers and signing directly with them, having a different reconciliation, different integration. We make it easy for any merchant to expand with one integration, having all the different payment methods, different languages, more than 90 different currencies are available, 150 different alternative payment options, so everything is very well adaptive to the location and making sure that the user, even if prefer different payment methods than the common ones, will find it at your checkout page. One of the nice new innovation that we have identified in the market are common practices such as Apple Pay, Samsung Pay, and WeChat Pay. So even in Cenk case, we have implemented WeChat Pay into the payment flow. Any Chinese user that is holding the WeChat Pay application can pay seamlessly. I will present to you how it's working, very easy. He's choosing the WeChat Pay. He doesn't have to take out his credit card, his debit card, nothing at all. He's just scanning with his own mobile the QR code that is being presented in the online cashier, is being prompted with the correct product amount that he is now about to be paying. He sees also the conversion, if he is capable. If you are a merchant transacting mainly in GBP or in USD, you want to show him the conversion between the local currency and the one that he is about to pay, and he is authorizing it with his PIN code or fingerprint and transacting immediately. I think it's important to mention that an example such as WeChat Pay opens Cenk and any other merchant into 900 million of users, active users that are paying using this method. And this is only one example of how SafeCharge is coming to help, to assist any merchant out there to expand globally without the need of integrating or contracting with companies outside of your own known jurisdictions.
Well, I think before coming to questions, I'd like to add one more point. The successful integration we did with SafeCharge meant that we used their infrastructure around their very rich API callbacks, extending all the way to our OMS. So when there's an issue with the transaction, or when there's a change, you don't have to log into your payment gateway panel. You get to see everything on your ERP system or OMS. Apart from that, SafeCharge also gives us the opportunity to manage our acquiring and payment services on one domain, as they're also acting as our acquirers, which made the reconciliation process a lot easier. They've also got a module that extends all the way to your bank account to solve the reconciliation issues, which is, you know, e-retailers will know it's quite a bit of a headache. So yeah, that's all I've got to say. For any questions or anything you want to add.
So first of all, thank you very much for Cenk for participating, and any questions we'll be happy to answer.
Great. Well, thank you very much, both of you, for that great presentation there.
Thank you.
Sharing your insights.